Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Wrath of the Righteous with me, Regill. Let's return to camp, resurrect Ulbrig, and speak to Regill.
Always ready. I'm gone.
So after you rescue Regill, you'll have more Crusaders available for your army, and depending on what choices you made at Reliable Redoubt, will depend on which ones you get. So we have both Clerics and Hell Knights. If you let Regill make the decision or side with Regill, you'll only get Hell Knights, and I'm assuming if you don't let Regill come with you on the Crusade, you'll only get Clerics. I've never taken that option, but it makes sense. Also, Hell Knights are an extremely powerful Crusader unit. They're typically a mainstay in my army until the end game. I'm not going to swap them out yet, but I will eventually. Normally I'd replace the Rangers with the Hell Knights. It's an honor.
We do it my way.
I wouldn't mind having flowing scales. I'm not going to buy it yet. I will go ahead and grab Braces of Rough Landing. I should have bought it before we rescued Regill. I'll probably give that to Sela for the armor class specifically. That'll go to Lan, and Nenio gets that. Alright, let's take a look at Regill's class. So he's both an Armiger and a Hell Knight. The Hell Knight is a prestige class, so you can't start at level 1 as a Hell Knight. And the Armiger is the class to pick thematically if you want to go to Hell Knight. So to would-be Hell Knights take the trial referred to simply as the test, in which they enter single combat with a Conjured Devil and either emerge victorious or die. They are known as Armigers. While this is a blanket term for all Hell Knights in training, including those training to become Signifers, it also applies specifically to fighters who focus their training to become Hell Knights. Despite their lack of recognized rank, Armigers are skilled and deadly warriors. Most Armigers live and train at their Order Citadel, working toward the day when they become full-fledged Hell Knights. These Armigers follow a brutally strict routine. They spend hours honing their combat skills against other trainees, obsessively studying in the Citadel's libraries, or memorizing passages of the Hell Knight philosophy known as the Measure and the Chain. At regular intervals, squads of Armigers emerge from their citadels to patrol nearby cities or frontier lands, working to enforce Hell Knight law and their order's edicts. And Hell Knight. Not all who start as novice Armigers have what it takes to become a full-fledged Hell Knight, but those who do receive a wide array of abilities as they grow more powerful. While the individual powers and focus of a particular Hell Knight vary according to his order, all Hell Knights are universally feared and respected in regions where they maintain a presence. Most Hell Knights are lawful neutral and proudly avoid being tainted by distractions such as good or evil, but some who rise in power shift toward tyrannical and cruel natures. And he is a Traveler Gnome. So Traveler Gnome loses hatred and defensive training, but his base speed becomes 30 feet and he gains a +2 racial bonus on Lore Nature. Feels like an odd choice for Regill. He has the Chilaxian Diabolist background. Chilaxian Diabolist adds Knowledge Arcana to the list of her class skills. She also gains a +4 dodge bonus to armor class against devils. You might fight one devil in the game. He worships the God Claw. The Hell Knight Order of the God Claw reveals a pantheon of 5 deities. Amade and Torag are seen as model Hell Knights, concerned with offensive and defensive combat respectively. Iori as the epitome of emotionless discipline. Abadar is a keeper of laws, and Asmodeus is a strategist king. Depictions of these deities as part of the God Claw differ from traditional images, with the deities portrayed as stern, armored paragons of law. Though some members of the Order of the God Claw dedicate themselves to individual gods, many take the whole pantheon as their patron, receiving spells despite their unorthodox, perhaps even heretical beliefs. Domains are law, protection, strength, and war. Favorite weapon is the flail. He has 2-weapon fighting as his first feat. So benefit, your penalties on attack rolls for fighting with 2 weapons are reduced. The penalty for your primary hand lessens by 2, and the one for your offhand lessens by 6. So normally, if you wield a second weapon in your offhand, you can get 1 extra attack per round with that weapon. When fighting in this way, you suffer a -6 penalty with your regular attack or attacks with your primary hand, and a -10 penalty to the attack with your offhand. If the offhand weapon is light, the penalties are reduced by 2 each. An unarmed strike is always considered light. Some of the double weapons, like the Gnome Hooked Hammer or the Orc Double Axe, the 2-bladed or double-bladed sword, forgot what it's actually called, they count as 2 weapons, for the sake of, well, feats. He also has Weapon Finesse. With a light weapon, Elven Curved Blade, S-Stock, or Rapier made for a creature of your size category, you may use your Dexterity modifier instead of your Strength modifier on attack rolls. As you can tell, he is a Dex build. In fact, I'm pretty sure, let's take a quick look. Yeah, I guess Celia and Sosu are both strength builds as well. But there's a ton of Dex builds in the game. Ulberg was in the game at release. He's added with the DLC. And you do get Greybore later. A Fighter's Finesse. The fighter gains the benefits of the Weapon Finesse feat with all melee weapons that belong to the associated fighter weapon group. The fighter must have the Weapon Finesse feat before choosing this option. Alright then, Armiger. Fighter Proficiencies. A fighter is proficient with all simple and martial weapons, with all armor, heavy, light, and medium, and shields including tower shields. Then Order of the God Claw. Order of the God Claw Hell Knights enforce... So the Armiger gets a Hell Knight order starting out. The other fighter classes don't, of course. So Order of the God Claw. Order of the God Claw Hell Knights enforce law with a Crusader's zeal, going where they're needed most in the fight against the forces of chaos. So Hell Knights do function a little bit like Paladins. They have a Smite ability, but instead of Smite Evil, it's Smite Chaos. They know no bounds or borders in the quest for absolute order. To Hell Knights of the God Claw, the cause of order is a holy mandate for which they will travel far to battle chaos in lands that know little of civilization. To others, this Hell Knight's faith is likely inexplicable. Some believe the members of the order are experts in all 5 individual faiths, or even that they are heretics. At first level, you get an aura, which you can use 3 times per day. It lasts 1 minute and grants all allies at a 30-foot radius a +1 morale bonus to armor class, attack, and damage rolls against chaotic enemies. This bonus increases by +1 at 5th and 9th level. And Studious Squire. An Armiger gains 1 additional skill rank at each level. In addition, the Armiger treats Knowledge World as class skill. As a class skill, is what I would say. Now this alters the fighter's class skills and skill points per level. It replaces the fighter's bonus feats gained at 1st and 10th levels. And he has Weapon Focus, Gnome Hooked Hammer. So choose 1 type of weapon. You can also choose Unarmed Strike, or if you're a spellcaster, melee or ranged touch attack, as your weapon for the purposes of this feat. A benefit, you gain a +1 bonus on all attack rolls you make using the selected weapon. And special, you can gain this feat multiple times. Its effects do not stack. Each time you take the feat, it applies to a new type of weapon. And Ardent. Armigers are difficult to sway from their beliefs. At second level, an armiger gains a +1 bonus on will saves against charm and compulsion effects. This bonus increases by 1 for every 4 fighter levels beyond second. Additionally, the first time per day armiger fails a saving throw against a charm or compulsion effect, he rerolls the saving throw with the same DC. This replaces bravery. And bravery is will saves. Then he gets armor training. Starting at third level, a fighter learns to be more maneuverable while wearing armor. Whenever he is wearing armor, he reduces the armor check penalty by 1 to a minimum of 0, and increases the maximum dexterity bonus allowed by his armor by 1. Every 4 levels thereafter, 7th, 11th, and 15th, these bonuses increase by +1 each time to a maximum -4 reduction of the armor check penalty, and a +4 increase of the maximum dexterity bonus allowed. In addition, a fighter can also move at his normal speed while wearing medium armor. At 7th level, a fighter can move at his normal speed while wearing heavy armor. And then weapon specialization, Gnome Hooked Hammer. Are you skilled at dealing damage with one weapon? Choose one type of weapon, including unarmed strike, for which you've already selected the weapon focus feat. You deal extra damage when using this weapon. Benefit, you gain a +2 bonus on all damage rolls you make using the selected weapon. And special, you can gain this feat multiple times, its effects do not stack. Each time you take the feat, it applies to a new type of weapon. And then for Hell Knight, we have Smite Chaos. Once per day, a Hell Knight can call out to the powers of law to aid him in his struggle against chaos. As a swift action, the Hell Knight chooses one target within sight to smite. If this target is chaotic, the Hell Knight adds his charisma bonus, if any, to his attack rolls, and adds twice his Hell Knight level to all damage rolls made against the target of his smite. Smite Chaos attacks automatically bypass any DR the creature might possess. In addition, while Smite Chaos is in effect, the Hell Knight gains a deflection bonus equal to his charisma modifier, if any, to his armor class against attacks made by the target of the smite. If the Hell Knight targets a creature that is not chaotic, the smite is wasted with no effect. The Smite Chaos lasts until the target dies or the Hell Knight selects a new target. At 4th level, and at every 3 levels thereafter, the Hell Knight may Smite Chaos 1 additional time per day. And an order. So a character must choose one Hell Knight order to join at 1st level, which you can also do as an armiger. The choice of order determines what disciplines the character gains later access to. If a character takes a level in the armiger class, they must choose an order as well, but they don't gain any benefits from it until they gain levels in the Hell Knight or Hell Knight Signifier class. And voila! That's Regill in a nutshell. Let's go ahead and level him up. We'll continue down the Hell Knight path. So he gets armor training, which we just read. The armiger also gets armor training. A knowledge arcana, low religion, and that'll do. We'll grab outflank here. And last stand.
Follow if you dare.
Alright, then we'll rest up, go speak to Regill, and continue on our merry way.
I'm always surprised to see a follower of Shaylin on the battlefield. A place where there is no beauty or peace.
Shaylin has been forced to raise a blade against her brother. She knows better than anyone the importance of sacrifice.
Ozan Kuthan.
We should move.
Regill stands with his hands behind his back, his favorite pose it would seem. He seems submerged in thought, but gathers himself gathers himself immediately as you approach, excuse me. His pale yellow eyes examine you inquisitively. Knight Commander, it is good you found time to meet me. As a matter of some urgency I must discuss with you. It was incredibly interesting, the power you and your companions received during the fight at the Great Garrison. And now my interest has been gratified. The power your companions received is passed on to me as well. It manifested after my usual evening reckoning. I believe I now present a true threat to the creatures and initiates of chaos. The imprisoned cultists we kept for certain observations experienced this firsthand. Regill's voice is unemotional, almost bored. Leaves no doubt as to the cultist's fate. Striking, isn't it? Divine intervention at a critical moment is rare, but not beyond imagining. But in this case, part of the power that you received through this intervention has passed to someone who joined you well after the fateful moment had passed. Whatever the nature of this power, it will help us in our mission, and that's good. Sensible pragmatism. One must always be pragmatic. In any case, this is shallow philosophizing. You must have some questions for me. May I ask you a few questions about yourself? Of course. What brought you to Mendev? The demonic threat, of course, and the glaring inefficiency of the local command. I do not know if you are aware of this, but the Hell Knights owe their existence to the Demon Lords to a certain extent. Our first order appeared in response to Sifkesh's cultists and Cheliax. The chaos they wreaked could not fail to breed strict opposition. Those first knights were able to burn out the pestilence and crush the cult once and for all. I see no reason for the Hell Knights of today not to do the same to the tentacles of the World Wound. What? Today, not to do the same to the tentacles the World Wound is spreading. Oh, never mind, I misread that. Okay. Without question, the task is far more difficult than anything we've encountered before, but it must be done to preserve world order. All the more so given that Queen Galfrey and her commanders are apparently not up to the task. The motives you list sound rather impersonal. Don't you have any other reasons for joining the Crusade? The personality is a fine quality for a Hell Knight, and for the rest of the world as well. Personal motives, strong emotions. They are weaknesses that your enemies will use against you. I'm an effective officer with years of service. The demonic invasion of Galarian obviously demands the most qualified response. That is why I'm here. It's simple. You're rather skeptical about Queen Galfrey. If my memory doesn't fail me, the current crusade is called the Fifth. The Fifth Crusade. With all of the support the Church of Iomedae and multiple other allies provided to Galfrey, no progress has been made in resolving the crisis at the World Wound. The best they could manage was create a chain of wardstones. Even they turned out to be inadequate. I suppose that should be reason enough for my skepticism. Forgive me for asking a personal question, but your hair is going gray, your skin is rather pale. It's the bleaching, right? Of course it's the bleaching. Regill shrugs indifferently. Are you doing anything to fight the bleaching? What do other races do to fight the old age? Regill allows himself a brief smirk. I know what made you ask this question. My kin have earned a certain reputation for their vain attempts to stave off the inevitable. Luckily for the rest of the world, not all gnomes are prepared to spread chaos with their reckless escapades. There are some among us who accept the natural order of things. The bleaching has no effect on my ability to carry out my duties, and therefore it has no, how should I put it, personal meaning for me. So I'll read the bleaching description. The bleaching is the name given to the physical decolorization and aging of a gnome. It is caused by a lack of exposure to new and exciting experiences. This bleaching of color is accompanied by a psychological decline first into depression and apathy, and eventually into madness and death. Gnomes' efforts to fend off the bleaching only serve to fuel their racial curiosity and whimsy, giving them a somewhat manic edge. Some claim that the bleaching is a result of the gnomes leaving the First World thousands of years ago. The few gnomes who survived the bleaching develop enigmatic wisdom and a connection to the natural world, earning them the name Bleachlings. So the gnomes are from the First World, and there they were immortal, so they didn't really have to worry about bleaching or dying. But I guess now that they're tied to Galarian, they're technically mortal, but they can extend their lives by remaining chaotic, in short. Because most of the creatures, if not all of them in the first world, are chaotic. They're fey creatures. Do you have any family or friends? I've never wondered at the fate of the former, never had any interest in the latter. If you allow me one piece of advice, Commander, never put too much stock in so-called friendship or camaraderie. Any bonds based on simple affection are temporary and unreliable. Half of your smiling companions certainly consider you their friend for the present, but they'll break and betray you the moment you do anything that troubles their happy expectations. Place greater value on respect based on a rational evaluation of your companion's merits. I deeply respected my mentor, who trained me to join the ranks of the Hell Knights. I respected her so much that I killed her with my own hands when I discovered that she betrayed the Order's ideals and was intending to leave our ranks. It would have been more proper to inform the command and await the formal trial, but on the other hand, that would have injured the morale of our young recruits. They should not see manifestations of weakness in our seasoned knights. Regill cringes. You've openly shown your distrust of the Crusader command. Why then have you decided to join me? Do not misread my behavior as distrust of you personally. Like every Hell Knight, I watch everyone closely, searching for signs of weakness and sin. Everyone, including myself. Regill speaks the last word pointedly. Indeed, Regill Derenge is first on my list of suspects. I observe him daily, marking every fault, every hesitation, every weakness, and I prepare the proper punishment. So it has been, and will be. As for your second question, I suppose we may be useful to each other. You and your army are a new power in the Crusade. I rate all the old powers as quite ineffective. I've yet to rate your own efforts, but early indications are positive. That means you may count on my help, for now. What will happen if your assessment changes? I will inform you of this, as well as any measures I intend to take. Be aware that I treat my allies more strictly than my enemies. This is a sign of respect. Regill's pale yellow eyes freeze in an expression of polite attention. Knight Commander, greetings. It's odd they put an exclamation point on greetings here. I feel like it would just be a period if Regill was actually talking. What can you tell me about the Hell Knights? I can tell you a great deal. However, the Order's recruiters would be a better source of information on such matters. How are new Order members recruited? We accept as armigers any we find worthy, but for the main test, the one that separates the strong from the weak, they must face down a devil summoned directly from Hell. If they defeat the beast honestly, the armiger becomes a rightful Hell Knight. If they lose, we simply forget their existence, like the world made an unfortunate mistake. Who do Hell Knights answer to? Only to the heads of their orders. In my case, it's Lictor Resark Auntor, head of the Order of the Godclaw. As a rule, the Hell Knights do not submit to the jurisdiction of any state. The same is true of local laws. We're happy to help local governments bring order, if we consider their requests lawful, and if those who are asked are worthy. But we do not serve them, and have every right to refuse their demands. So what do you value most? The law, and only the law. If you care so much about the law, how could you ignore the authority of the lawful rulers in the lands where you operate? We cannot call it law just because some foolish local prince thought it up, or a council of demented elders deems it wise, now can we? You see, one of the main principles of our brotherhood is that no one, is immune from prosecution. A lawful ruler may be a criminal that poses a threat to society. We must be able to punish them as well. This is why Hell Knights only honor the measure in the chain, the doctrine shared by all our orders, and why Hell Knights serve only their officers in the aim of transforming this chaos-torn world and leading it to a brilliant and ordered future. We're the main bastion of order in Golarion, no matter how much some naysayers try to refute it. Well, thank you. I've learned everything I wanted to know. Expanding one's knowledge is a good deed, provided, of course, that this knowledge is useful. Ask if you have any further questions. Do you have a plan or a strategy for the war against the demons? A spark flashes in Regill's eyes. I have a clear idea of the forces I shall require to wage effective war against the World Wound. Currently, I do not possess them. But I know what steps I must take. We must amass and fortify, gather scouting information, resolve certain problems of an organizational nature. Once the problem of Dresden is solved, I shall direct some of my knights to prepare an outpost for the party. I've already scouted a suitable location, the ruins of an old shrine, which still holds the remnants of an ancient power and is thus a lure for demons. An excellent foothold for honing our skills and studying the enemy. That is my next goal. Thank you for speaking with me. Until next time. Alright, let's go knock out Nameless Ruin. We'll do Leper Smile next time. I didn't read the description. We'll step out, read it, and come back. Also, I do need Nenio.
I'm off.
A little odd it's not locked to having Nenio in your party. Most quest locations like that are. Alright, kick Woljif out for now. Alright, the Nameless Ruins. The unknown ruins that currently remain seem to date back to the time of Sarkoris. It is one of the few places that has not changed since the opening of the World Wound.
I'll take care of it.
Unimosi travisi. Unimosi travisi.
The world has suffered enough.
Unimosi travisi.
Now, what am I missing?
Turino. Amrata Stationi Savitur! Stationi Savitur!
All ears.
Unimosi travisi.
Require my unbiased opinion? Rite. Rite. Esle, Axel, Na, Orama. Na, Orama. Na, Orama. Orama.
Alright.
I do what I must. This will be quick.
You crossed the wrong mongrel.
The Inheritor, guide my blade! The light, take you!
Don't hold back.
You're irrelevant.
Oh shoot, I left Woljif behind. I only wanted to disarm traps. I mean, we have sunshine, so we could just run through traps. It's not ideal,
I'm gone.
but it works.
Something over there.
I found
Oh, we have
something.
Sela, that's right.
Ah, test of my abilities.
Let's let these guys come to me first.
Begone, fiend!
Alright, Sunshine, you just run over here, buddy. Oh, we're immune to Sneaking Cloud. That's fine.
I'll remove this obstacle.
You won't survive me. Endure this!
Alright, let's take off Sela's armor so she has a better chance at this. 80%, I'll take it.
Oh, well, that happened. Call me again if you need to.
A few items here. We got Midnight Soup. A Cloak of Cleansing. This Cloak of Resistance +2 additionally grants the wearer a +2 bonus on saving throws against compulsion and disease effects. We'll give that to him. We'll save this for Woljif. And not give it to Nenio yet. She can have this though, it's another buff. Alright, our will. 11, 12, 12.
All they took
I
from
will
me,
lend you my aid.
I'll take back.
Search for the beauty with your heart, not your eyes.
Alright, Remnants of the Ghoul's Feast.
I'm rather proud of this one.
Cool. I don't pass that check very often. The scattered remains are sickening to look upon. The ghouls clearly ate their fill. Fortunately, they're not interested in the jewelry left on the bodies. Oh, we got a Ring of Protection +2.
We do it my way. Follow if you dare.
Huh? Oh, yes, what?
Oh, they'll regret this.
You should have run!
We'll go to haste up here.
Mind over muscle.
Clawing time.
Make every strike count.
There's a circle here. Make note of that. There's a puzzle in this area. That's part of it.
Please, be careful.
They will break against our resolve.
Some more gargoyles, which Sela's now equipped to fight.
Into the fray!
You've crossed the wrong mongrel.
We're gonna attack from behind.
They don't know how fragile they are.
The Inheritor, guide my blade!
I think there's only one more fight. Yeah, this guy.
It's time to act!
Rely on me.
The goddess protects us.
Yeah?
You are my favorite aide.
Their life ends here!
Well, I guess, guys, I've got through the second bear. 75% chance, so we take off her armor, should be, what, like 90%? 100%, heck yeah.
This was simple enough.
Not that it really matters, the loot is pretty mediocre, but
I'm off.
it's the
What's
experience
that
that I
there?
want. Let's see if she could do this.
It's just not my lucky day.
Not quite. Alright, let's do this. And guidance.
Let me help.
A bright future awaits us.
Oh, it's disarmed now. Well, never mind then. The icon was still on the ground, so I wasn't sure if it went away or not. Some traps don't go away after you disarm them. Oh, it's a different trap. So I was right.
My will is resolute.
I do what I must.
And here's the puzzle I was talking about. We have to find 2 more clues. One is actually behind us. Right here. So the other one had the outer circle highlighted. This one has the inner circle highlighted.
I'm gone.
There's one more piece down this way. A ghoul corpses. It is as if they simply lay down and died of their own accord.
We do it my way.
A stranger, here's the final piece of the puzzle. The absence of an answer is an answer too. Alright, let's go solve this puzzle real quick. So notice the outer circle, the inner circle, and looking at it. So, puzzle, I'm not a huge fan of it, because like the lion head in the center, you think, looking at these circles, lion head would be sitting in there with its head facing towards one of the sides of the square instead of one of the corners. I always forget this one. Yeah, this two. You think the lion's head would be facing this way, since all these pictures here have the square facing like a square, not a diamond. If that makes sense. I don't think I did a good job of explaining that. But hey, we got a phylactery of positive channeling. So these you find pretty often. If the wearer of this headband has the ability channel positive energy, it increases the amount of damage this ability does to undead creatures or heals to living creatures by plus 2d6. It's pretty good. I'm actually going to give this to Socio for right now. And give the wisdom Sela. That's going to boost her will saving throws.
I'm off.
It's better on clerics having that plus 2 to wisdom, because not only does it boost his will saving throws, it also boosts his spell casting, since wisdom is the cleric's spellcasting stat. I am the answer, but what is the question? An elf woman in a frayed robe turns her head to you and stares at you through the slits in her simple white mask. Then she holds out her hand and touches the ancient statue. The absence of an answer is an answer too. Hey, wait. Where are you going? Spontaneous dematerialization is unscientific. Nenio touches the statue and suddenly freezes. Following her example, you put your hand on the statue, and the world around you ceases to exist. You're a lone grain of sand floating in the emptiness of the unknown. Your path has no beginning and no end. You're tiny and insignificant in comparison with the cosmos that surrounds you. But then something changes. The emptiness takes notice of you. It stares at you, measures and assesses you. Then a question comes, as simple and as deep as the emptiness itself. Who are you? I'm not going to answer. You'll answer, one way or another, today or in billions of years. The emptiness is patient. It can wait. What about you? The emptiness does not engage. The question was asked, and it will be answered. Let me out of here. A foolish demand from a grain of sand floating through the eternity. How can one get out of infinity? I'm not going to lie. I will Yell my name boldly. I am Donald. The name you uttered, that seems so powerful and proud, it rings through the emptiness. Then the silence comes, bleak and oppressive. The emptiness still awaits your answer. I am... You want to say your name, but what is it? Just a set of sounds you use to associate with yourself. You are Donald. Who decided this is who you are? Your parents? Yourself? Someone else? A name is just a label you take voluntarily. What happens if you tear this label off? What hides behind the name Donald? Behold the truth. Open yourself to knowledge. Reveal yourself.
I am Nenio. Nenio. You hear me? You voice from nowhere or whatever you are?
Your staff would cough nearby. Where Nenio used to be, you now see an unfamiliar kitsune curled up tight on the ground.
What's going on here? Nenio, is that you?
Sela instinctively lays her hand on her weapon. Nenio, is that you?
I am Nenio, the greatest scientist of the modern age, and you are my loyal follower. Why are you asking me such a pointless question?
You are a kitsune.
It appears your observation is correct. I am a kitsune.
The kitsune stares down at her hands, then runs her fingers over her pointy muzzle, lingering over her sharp teeth and ears. I'm so disappointed we didn't get the rat folk instead of the kitsune. There was a vote before the game came out, after we reached a certain backer goal. We got to choose between the... Was it the cat folk? The rat folk and the kitsune.
If my hypothesis is correct, and the probability of that is close to 100%, I have always been a kitsune, but at some point I decided to forget that piece of knowledge. Following this line of reasoning, it would seem the fact of my membership of a certain race just doesn't seem relevant to me.
Nenio scratches behind her ear.
Also, there is a more important question. Why did my true identity reveal itself in this precise moment?
She casts a pensive look at the ancient statue towering over you. How could you forget you're a kitsune?
This question is irrelevant in the current situation. If you wish, you can ask me about it later. If you believe that I've been keeping my true identity a secret on purpose, you are mistaken. I have no interest in your causes, your battles, or your secrets, if you have any. All I need from you is your assistance with my experiments. And with this.
Nenio sweeps her hand in a wide circle, gesturing at the statues around you.
I have no words. Can I just stand here silently and look like I'm thinking something smart?
What was that? I found myself in emptiness, and a voice asked me questions.
I suppose it was a trap that yanked our minds out of our plane and temporarily transferred us to another one. I wish I knew which plane. By the way, did you know that the most efficient way to disarm a corridor's worth of magical traps is with the help of a scientist who has been told that the formula for an elixir of the ancient races lies hidden at the end of said booby-trapped corridor?
The kitsune sighs heavily. Whose voice do you think it was?
I haven't the slightest idea. But it is most definitely an extremely wise entity. Besides, the entity displayed no aggressive tendencies, which gives us hope that it can be reasoned with.
So, what do you think about that?
The voice in the emptiness asked me, and judging by your reaction, you too, who I am. And merely stating my name failed to satisfy it. The trap then forced me to assume my true form, which I had completely forgotten about.
Nenio frowns.
I suppose this trap wasn't a trap per se. It rather was a closed portal leading to some hidden place that can easily unveil secrets and reveal the truth. The one who spoke to us seemed to solve me like a riddle, in an instant just by looking at me. I would like to meet this entity. Can you imagine which secrets it can unravel? I want to speak to it, and you, my follower, must help me.
The kitsune's eyes light up.
But how can you get there? If there is a door, there must be a way to open it. If there's a lock, there must be a key to it. There is an inscription here, right on the statue. I am the void and the emptiness. I am the starting point. I am infinite. Tear my mask off and let it fall at my feet. I don't understand this at all. How thrilling!
Nenio clears her throat. Sounds like a riddle.
It does. It really does. I love riddles and puzzles.
Much to the chagrin of a lot of the players of this game. I like the puzzles in the game, but a lot of people don't. How do we solve it?
Each of them is inscribed with a riddle, and each demands that something be placed at its feet. I guess we need some items that represent the answers to these riddles, but don't ask me where we should look for them.
Nenio quickly examines the statues. Maybe we should ask one of these geysers.
I don't think they can help us. Looks like all they can do is mumble their mantra about questions and answers.
Why are you so sure that the unknown entity behind the mysterious portal may want to talk to us?
I'm not sure at all, but we must try. We simply must. Getting there and talking with this entity will be the greatest of my experiments. No exaggeration.
A portal that leads to the unknown could be dangerous.
The world wound is dangerous, walking under a hanging icicle is dangerous, even choking on a chunk of badly chewed food can lead to a fatal outcome after all. Living is dangerous. But what is danger compared to knowledge?
It looks like there's nothing more we can do here now.
With deepest regret, I have to admit that you are right. It's highly unlikely that we'll be able to solve this riddle right here and now. We'll have to temporarily withdraw so we can return when we're armed and ready.
Nenio sighs and turns away from the statue. So you can't finish this quest till Act 5. The sand looks utterly unremarkable, apart from its inexplicable presence here among the ruins of the woodland.
I do what I must.
The ruins are so ancient that it is impossible to tell which civilization was responsible for their construction. I am the unknown. I scare cowards but reveal my secrets to the brave. Tear my mask off and let it fall at my feet. See the same description here. I am the end of the road. I am superiority. I am loneliness. Tear my mask off and let it fall at my feet. I am the void and the emptiness. I am the starting point. I am infinite. Tear my mask off and let it fall at my feet. I am the impetus to act. I am a reason for torture and a cause for insomnia. Tear my mask off and let it fall at my feet. So we'll find a series of 4 masks as we play through the game. Some of them are fairly well hidden.
I am never wrong.
But we'll return in Act 5 and finish this quest.
I found.
I think I always miss that in my first pass, but when I come back up, since you hugged that side, the path, didn't spot it.
My skills are absolute.
Alright, I'm gonna call it here. Next time we'll head to Leper's Smile. I'm gonna keep Nenio in the party for Leper's Smile. I don't need another melee companion with Woljif. This melee does not excel in that area. Plus haste will come in very useful in Leper's Smile. But yeah, that's the plan for now. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next one.